Thank you, Reverend Kate. And good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
How wonderful to see you all here. And that was a perfect song. I Have a Dream. Because we're going to talk about dreams this morning. Your dreams. So, first let me tell you about this little boy who was heard talking to himself as he strutted through the backyard. Wearing his baseball cap and toting a ball and bat, he said to himself, "I'm the greatest hitter in the world." Then he threw the ball up in the air, swung at it, and missed. "Strike one," he said. As he picked up the ball, he says, "I'm the greatest hitter in the world." He tossed the ball in the air again. When it came down, he swung again and missed. "Strike two," he said. Took this ball and bat in his hand, and he examined it, and he said again, "I'm the greatest hitter in the world." Tossed the ball and missed. "Strike three," he says, "Wow, I'm the greatest pitcher in the world." So what changed? Many times we need to change our attitude, our belief, our outlook about something. In other words, we need to remember the truth of who we are and whose we are and what we came here to do. And if you don't know or remember, perhaps after today's talk, you'll set a new intention. A new intention. Today I want to talk about living the principles of science of mind. Was that little boy not using them? He says, "I'm the greatest." And when it was all over, he was still the greatest. Wasn't counting those balls right, but. So just what is science of mind? It's a philosophy. It's a religion. It's a way of life. It's my way of approaching the world and being in the world. And it all revolves around the energy that I call God. And sometimes we refer to that God as the power and the present, the magnificent, the source of all good, universal energy, divine energy. It is that God essence that is in and through all creation and is living its life through each of us. That's what we sometimes forget. That little boy in the backyard, he says, "I'm the greatest." Each one of us is God in action. God, or spirit, as we call it, is living its life as each one of us. That is our divine nature. And this universal energy that I call God is all-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere present. It is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Now, why do I take all this time to remind you of what you already know? It's the basic of our teaching. Because sometimes we forget. And then we focus on what? Our aches, our pains, our what is not working. And what I want to remind you of today is no matter what appears not to be working, it is working. It works through a set of practices and principles. Our consciousness. So what is not working maybe momentarily is that you have forgotten the truth. Or maybe that pain has got you so bad that that's not your focus right now. But I want to remind you, each one of us is divine. The seed of perfection is within each of us. So when you leave here, this is just a pep talk, take it with you. Remind yourself. When I set out to walk sometimes, and walking is a spiritual practice for me, or it's a daily practice. I used to do it just for fun. And now my body has said, it's not fun anymore, girl. We got to do this every day. This is how we're going to keep rolling. And when you approach it like that, rather than, oh my God, my back hurts. No, what I do is I grab my sticks and I get going. And we have to remember that the law, the infinite spirit works through the law of cause and effect. The law is impersonal. What you put into it, you will get out of it. Love points the way and the law follows. It does not work differently for me and for you and for Reverend Kate. No, it's working the same for each of us. So why is one of us bouncing along smiling and the other one of us is feeling down? Remember the truth. God in me, as me, can do anything. So what do? I get those walking sticks and I tell Kobe, let's go. We're going to take a little walk. And away we go. Recognize the power within you. The master teacher, Jesus, said, these things I do, you can also do. It is not the I that does the work. It's the Father within me. So when I get to the top of that hill every day, I didn't get up that hill alone. It's not that I'm so brave. My neighbors stop and talk to me. Oh, it's great to see you out here. And they give me accolades because they probably think she's struggling old lady out here with her cap and her sticks. But I'm going. I'm on a journey toward wellness, a journey toward believing I am that I am, and believing these things I do, you can also do. So we operationalize that power by recognizing our oneness with Spirit. It's not me that's so big and brave that's getting up that hill every day. It's God that's helping me get up that hill every day. And believe me, I don't want to share this with the whole audience, but I hurt every day.
Yeah.
I remember as a younger woman, and actually it was our then church leader, who was my dear friend, my dear mentor, said to me, I have pain every day. And I thought to myself, what must that be like? To be in pain all the time. I couldn't fathom it. But now I live with pain every day, and it's not who I am.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. I don't remember it. How are you today, Matti? I'm great. I'm on my pony. So, and I am. In the old Baptist church, they used to say, I'm walking up the King's Highway. Well, I no longer remember the words of that song. I'm walking up the King's Highway, but you know what? I'm walking up the King's Highway. So we operationalize this power that we feel within us by recognizing our oneness with Spirit and the power within you. So what's one of the tools that we use? What is it? I'm not so different from the rest of the world. I don't want to paint myself as some God. No, I'm no different than you are, and I feel the same pain. And I don't want to just talk about pain, makes you think I'm one big pain body. I'm not. I'm a woman in love, in joy, and enjoying this journey that I'm on. Every day is a good day. Now, I didn't say the pain went away, but I'm saying every day is a good day. That's not my focus. That's not who I am. So what is one of the powers you have? Spiritual mind treatment is a tool, and we recognize our power by recognizing our oneness, or remembering our oneness with Spirit and the Spirit within you. First step of treatment, in case you all have sort of forgotten the steps or don't use them, to remember to recognize the power and presence. Remind ourselves of the truth. It's all God, and it's all good. You're saying, why did I go to church this morning? I've been hearing that stuff for years. Just work with me for a few minutes. We recognize our oneness with God. We recognize there is a connection. It's that same God. Look at that stars. Look at that sky. It's dark over here. It's light over there. Ooh, there's some blue out over the ocean. It's bright over there. What's going on? You recognize that connection. That's what's moving you. And then make your declaration. What is it that you want to declare? The truth, of course. It's all God, it's all good, and I don't really have pain. God, I'm giving this pain over there. Affirm the truth. I am walking up the hill of my street every day, and I will continue to walk up there until they take me out of here. And when we reach that realization in our mind, we can give thanks. Thank you, God. I'm still walking. Thank you, God. I'm still out here. I'm still doing it. I see my neighbors. They wave. Sometimes they come outside and stop and spend time with me, and they don't realize, God, I'm standing on these legs. But when we reach that realization in our mind, we know the truth. We give thanks, recognizing that it's already done. And we release it. God, you got this. Sometimes when I get to the top of the hill and I round the corner, I say, God's got this. I got this. I can go a few more blocks. Let's see if I can make it to the mailbox. And guess what? I've made it to the mailbox. I've made it till now I'm walking the whole cul-de-sac. I just got another hill over this other side that I still have to conquer. But that's on the plan. That's on the mind. And you say, that's in my mind. I will be walking. My hill goes up this way and around that way. Well, I've chosen the first leg of the journey, which is the longer one. and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to go on the other side. And you say, that's easier said than done. What are you talking about? Your pain doesn't feel anything like the pain I feel. You're right. It is easier said than done. To use it, we just have to recognize and remind ourselves of the truth that the law is always working, and we create our world through our thoughts. It's either a bright day. My mom used to say when she came in and put on the light, "Good morning, sunshine." And with my head buried in the cover, I was thinking, who's sunshine? But the brightness in her voice, soon I was feeling that sunshine. So wake yourself up and say, "Good morning, sunshine. Good morning, beautiful." I used to have one of my husbands call me beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. Now, how does that feel? To have someone looking at you and you look the same way you've always looked, and then somebody sees that as beauty. Well, you got the same power. How about you seeing yourself as beautiful? What happens if you look in the mirror and say, "Good morning, beautiful"? Try that. Good morning, beautiful. Or when you wake up in the morning, how are we feeling today, girl? We're going to get this done. Do you pep talk? Do you use the power of your mind? That's what we're all about. The science of mind. Do you use it to keep going when the going gets rough, when the doctors tell you crazy things that you know ain't the truth? It ain't the truth. Not because it may not be true in reality, but it's not your truth. It's not my truth. So, to create what we want in our lives, we must first create it in our minds. As you can tell, I have created in my mind about me and my life a different reality than sometimes my body, the message is trying to tell me. Believe in that power and presence and your connection with it. And faith is so important, even though you don't really see it in the real world. We have to use the tools that we learn here every week. I can remember talking to my niece one morning, and she said, "It's not so good, not such a good day." I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, they turned me down again at this new car I'm looking at. I want a new BMW, and the BMW man said," the dealer said, "my debt ratio isn't right." So I said, "Okay, we got to work on one. You got to do the work on the debt ratio. But we got to work on your building in your mind a consciousness of that car." And so she said, "Okay, every morning, first thing I do when I get to work, I pull up a picture of that black BMW I want on my computer. That's the first thing I do. I turn it on, and then I don't go to the job site. I go to my car. I can't tell you how many BMWs she has used. This was when she was early in career and trying to work to get the first car, and then now the BMWs get bigger and bigger. I said, boy, these BMWs are getting bigger, she says, I'm manifesting. She's even learned that I know how to manifest, as she proudly says. And this same niece was laid off about 6 years ago. And the job offered them opportunities to move to promotional opportunities across the state, go to this state or that state, find your job within this particular company and get yourselves a job, because we're moving out of California. And as many of you know, many of the insurance companies have moved out of California. So she thought, well, maybe I ought to go look at Arizona. I don't want to leave you guys. Maybe I should go to Phoenix. That's not so far away. It's only a plane trip like it. I said, be clear on what you want. I want to stay next to family. I said, then stay here. Let's work on your manifesting, since you know how to do it so well, a job in California. So even though she knew the last day that the company would be terminating them, she did not look for a job, because the company says if anybody gets a job and goes to another company, jumps ships and goes to another company, we're not going to give you severance pay. So you need to stay here. Anybody who gets a job for another company. So my niece waited it out. Even though she knew the end of the month would be her final paycheck, she decided to wait it out. And my sister and I, who was also a prayer warrior, continued to pray for her. I used to tell her, if anybody gets a job, you're going to get one, so don't worry about it. If there's any jobs, any insurance jobs to be had in California, you're going to get one. That's the belief, ladies and gentlemen, system you have to have. Just believe in it. My mother used to say, just trust him. Trust God. And I'm saying the law works. Believe in yourself. Believe in God. And so finally, the termination day came, and she put her resume out on the street because she's afraid to put one out earlier. Within 2 weeks, she had a job. She ended up at work, and she called me up. Oh, I'm so excited. The new supervisor was happy to see her. She said, when I got to work today, there were all kinds of gifts on my desk from people welcoming to my new job. And she said, and then my supervisor said, I had to fight to get you because everybody in our company wanted you because of your experience. Set your intention, ladies and gentlemen. Give it your attention. Now, how do you give it your attention? She couldn't set an intention, I want a job in California, and go home and paint her fingernails. She has to believe and work with the law. As soon as the time frame in which she could get looking, her resume was ready to go. She had her resume out on the street. And after years with that company, she had a pretty strong resume. And so, what am I saying? If you have a dream, and if you don't have one, I want you to get one. Everybody needs a dream. And it doesn't have to be fancy. one of my dreams is to stand on these two legs and get up to the top of the hill every day. And then when I started getting up there every day and I got up there in a short period of time, you know what the second dream was? To get up there twice a day. Keep on getting stronger. So, we have to visualize what we want. Live in the reality of your dreams, and those dreams will come true. My niece would pull up BMW. You pull up what you want. Is it a garden full of beautiful flowers? Dal told me he went scavenging in the yard. What a beautiful scavenger hunt. Yeah. Is it incredible or what? You see, we get to use the law to create what we want. That's why I called it STAR. Living the science of mind. I created about what I want in my daily living every day. That's what I created. So you get to create whatever you want in your life, small, though it may be to you, but you have it fit your dreams. Here I am, God, send me. This is what I want. I'm working on me today. Not Trump's election or whatever's going on in Washington. I'll get to that by and by, but right now, let me do me. There's a story about a couple who were on a cruise and were assigned dining seats with other couples. And every day the wife would talk about the negative things going on in her life to the husband's disappointment. And he said, hey, you guys, don't worry about what my wife is saying. She's in the manufacturing business. And he says, they said, what are you manufacturing? He said, unhappiness. So my question to you this morning is, what are you manufacturing? What's going on in your life today? Develop a consciousness of that you are seeking. And I'm here to tell you that you can achieve incredible things. 60 Minutes once ran a story about a blind architect who was still practicing. The question is, how is this possible? One day, while playing ball with his son, he found that the ball was going in and out of range, in and out of vision, and further study revealed that he needed surgery. And once he had the surgery, the doctor said to him, sorry, we're not going to be able to practice to restore your sight, so we will refer you to people to help you redo your profession, because he was an architect, building things first, designing, creating in his mind, designing, and the architect said, no, thank you. So what he did is he declined the counseling, and then he set about mastering the public transportation, so because he would no longer be able to drive, he mastered the transportation, so he was able to get about town, and then he learned how to map the drawings with a plastic. He could hear, although he could not see buildings, he could hear the shape and form of the building through sound. Can you imagine that you can go in a building and stand there and you can hear the image of the way the air moves through that building? So, as 60 Minutes indicate, he's still practicing his chosen profession today through the power of his mind. I say to you this morning, the power is within you. Each of you. I don't have any special power than you have. I wish I could play the piano like you. But that takes hard work. So what are you working on? Just remember, God in you, as you can do anything. So begin by recognizing your own power. What are you envisioning? What are you working on? What is it yours to do that you have either given up or think you can't do anymore? Do it anyway. Don't cry tears. Would you believe that part of our group visioning grew out of my own personal visioning? I said, gosh, I'd like to get together with others of like minds. And I thought about that, and I'd like to do it maybe. There are other people. My mind went a little further. The other people in our church must have the same need, the same desire. But do we pick up the phone and call each other? How often have I called you, Carol? How often do I do it, Morgan? Not enough. So, let us use the power of our minds to create what we want. And so, my question to you is, what have you been thinking about? What have you been dreaming about? What is it yours to do? What are you creating? Health? Happiness? Let go of the negative thinking. Doesn't belong there. Doesn't belong in your worldview. Don't give it a home. It's important to let go of negative thinking, thoughts of lack, limitation. Let that go. In Living the Science of Mind, ErnestHolmes talks of a river that starts at the top of the mountain in the Rockies and surfaces as majestic fountains along the way. As the river flows through the mountain, in some spots it's strong, bubbling, energy, high and bubbly, while others are less energetic. Something is blocking the flow of the sluggish fountains. Pipes carrying water have to be cleaned from time to time to restore their energy and vitality. So do we. An important principle in using the science of mind and in using this law is to forgive and release anything that no longer serves you. Stop chewing on that bone. All the juice is gone. Let it go. You were meant for greatness. You are God in action. There is a power in the universe, and you can use it. My question to you is, How will you use it to create the life of your dreams today?